Hey, all you game developers out there. We are continuing our work on Scratch. And when we last left our ship, it was able to destroy the big asteroids, which turned into two medium-sized asteroids. But at that point, you couldn't do anything else. You couldn't shoot them. They couldn't hit you. Wasn't a big deal. So what we're going to do today is we're going to finalize all of our shooting mechanics. So let's go ahead and take a look at our Scratch project so far, and let's begin. Okay, so here we are at the game, and I have been somewhat remiss. I haven't been doing a good job demonstrating my testing. So before we begin, let's just get the lay of the land at this point. We got big asteroids. If they hit the ship, I lose a ship. And of course, the asteroid breaks up into two smaller asteroids. I don't know if you noticed this, but let me go ahead and hit some of these. Couple things. Bullets go right through the asteroid and can hit other asteroids. That was not my intention, so we're going to have to get rid of that. The other thing you'll notice is that, I better get out of there, is that the little medium asteroids don't wrap around the screen. So we're going to have to fix that as well as get some scoring in place. We got a lot of work to do. So let's just get going on that. And so let me close the full screen. All right, we're going to just knock these down one at a time. What's our first problem? Maybe we should deal with the bullets first. All right, so the first thing we want to do is deal with the bullet. And basically, we want the bullet to disappear when it collides with anything. Yeah, all we have is when I start as a clone and when I receive shoot. So let's just do a when I receive start. Or it could be when I start as a clone. Yeah. We'll just do collision detection as a separate module, even though we already have a when I start as a clone. We're going to just add collisions with asteroids. And now we already have two sets of asteroids. We have like regular asteroid and medium asteroid. So we're going to do a forever because we want to just keep going. As soon as I start as a clone, I'm going to forever go. And then I'm going to just put a couple if statements inside. And then, so we have a collision. We're going to do a sensing for that one. And that's touching. I like this. It's a very touching thing. And there it is. If we're touching an asteroid, then we want to destroy ourselves. So that's just done through looks, through hiding. Okay, so if we are touching an asteroid, then we hide. We no longer want to appear. And that's just a really simple algorithm. I'm just going to put that in my first phrase that pays for all of my students who are watching the video recording. That's how they prove to me. I'll just put the first thing we did was to remove the bullet when it hits an asteroid. And that is through the when I start as a clone forever if touching asteroid. And I can't spell today. Okay, so there we go. When I start as a clone, forever, if touching asteroid, hi. That's it, hide. That's our first phrase that pays. Okay, great. Let's test it. Make sure it works. You guys got to test, right? Send one bullet through. Uh-oh. Okay, maybe we need to wait before we hide the bullet. Okay, so we're going to do a little control. We're going to just do a wait 1/10 of a second. Let's see if that fixes it. Hey, there we go. Okay, we get it. We got it working. Okay, perfect. So, number 2 is always test your programs. Okay? Because if I hadn't tested it, I wouldn't have realized that I needed to wait 0.1 seconds. Okay? Very important to test. If You don't test, you can't find out. And by the way, you want to test right after because as soon as I realized it wasn't working, I tested it. I knew it had to do with this when it's touching the asteroid. So I knew right away, oh, I probably just need to let it wait a little bit. Had I not tested it and gone a long time, I might have thought it was some other thing going on. So it's always good to test as soon as you try something out. All right, so we got that bullet part working. Let's look at our list of our goals again, because I always think that's really important. All right, we have to have collisions with medium asteroids. We're going to set spawning, collisions small, add scoring. Okay, we'll just do it in that order. All right, so we'll go to our medium asteroids. And let's look at the big asteroids first. Um, collision event. If we're touching the ship or we're touching bullet, then we want it to basically break up. So we did that with asteroid X, asteroid Y, and we did a 2-time repeat. So if every medium one turns into 4 small, that's going to be interesting. We're going to want to basically follow this. Okay, so that means in my case, I want to create a screen capture. And the reason I'm going to do screen capture is that I have something I can look at when I'm working. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this over here onto one side of the screen, and I'm going to resize this side of the screen. And then we're going to just focus. At this point, I think we can focus on the code here. Although, I'm going to try something out. I'm going to try doing this big screen, because I really want to focus on the code. And we're going to look at the medium-sized asteroid. Okay, so a couple things we did. We had the asteroid X, asteroid Y, and those were 2 variables that are only with the asteroid. And so what we probably want to do is do sort of the same thing here, where we're going to set our asteroid X and Y to the X and Y position, so that when we create a new object, we can do that. So that was when I received start, forever if touching. Oh, it was the create a clone that did that. Okay, so we need to know what the X and Y position of the medium asteroid happens to be. So we're going to go over here, I guess, and set our variables. There we go. Okay, and it's going to be for this sprite only. I'm going to set an asteroid X. Uh-oh, already exists. Apparently it was not. Oh, we need that for the medium one. Am I on the medium one? Actually, I don't know. Let's find out. I am on the medium one. And did I already set an asteroid X? Did I set that for all? I did, didn't I? Okay. Well, okay, that's easy. We just have to make sure it's a variable for all of them. So we're going to make another one, and we'll call it medium asteroid X. And we'll make it for all sprites so that our small asteroids can read this. And we'll do the same thing. I'm going to uncheck that so we don't see it in the test, and we'll call it med asteroid Y. And then we don't need a direction because we're going to randomize the rotation of it. Okay, and so we have a collision event, and notice the medium-sized one has no collision event. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. And that's just going to be a when I receive start. No. Yes. Okay. I was looking at this one on my medium asteroid, not at my screen capture. Now you get a little glimpse into my mind and how it can just be a little wacky there. I want to point something out. It's kind of interesting here. All these blocks like hide and when I receive and when clicked, it's like they all have this little drop down thing, but on forever, there isn't. And that's because this is an infinite loop. There is no anything after this forever. We're done with that script if we have a forever loop. unless we have some way of breaking out of it. But there isn't in Scratch, so that's why that bottom is just a straight bottom there, because you can't connect anything after. It would be ignored anyway. Okay, enough about that. Okay, whenever you see start, if we're touching the ship or a bullet. Okay, well, all right, let's build this out. That's sensing, touching, or touching. Actually, we can duplicate stuff. So we'll just duplicate when we need to. And we need an or. There's our or. And we need an if check. Okay, forever. If something or something else. Let me go ahead and duplicate this. If touching ship or touching bullet. All right, we're gonna follow just the way we did it. We're gonna set. Oh yeah, we're gonna basically mark our location. That's what these two lines are doing. It's marking the location. So we're gonna do some set. Oh, and I'm gonna take that off. Set asteroid X. I should duplicate that. I'm gonna set medium asteroid X and medium asteroid Y. So basically, we're trying to find a way to allow other objects to find its location. And so we got to go to motion, and we're looking for X and Y position. And the idea here is we only need to know what the value of this variable is when we hit something. All right. And then we're going to repeat 4 times what we did there. I'm going to drag this out. And this is part of the if. Otherwise, you don't want to see what's going to happen if we don't do it that way. We're going to create a clone of Small Asteroid. Let's go ahead and test it out. Like I said, we got to test this. Oh, and then we got to hide it. Let's make sure we don't forget that. I'll just copy from here. I love duplicate because it makes it so I don't have to go digging around over here. All right, let's go to full screen and test this sucker out. Uh-oh. Ah, it didn't happen. Okay. It's not spawning. Let's see if I can get... let's see if we can set the small asteroid when we hit. Well, that's no fun. Oh, there's no collision with the medium asteroid. Okay, that's not good. Okay, what the heck's going on? What am I missing? I'm going to pause my video recording while I figure this out. I think it's because we haven't done anything with the small asteroid. So we're going to go to the small asteroid, which has, oh, when the green is clicked, we hit it. They're all hidden. We're never going to see them any other way. Okay, so now we got to go to event when a clone is created. Where did that sucker go? So down at the bottom, yeah, when I start as a clone, I'm going to go ahead and we're going to show. Hello. Oh, looks. How do I look? Don't answer that question. When I start as a clone, we're going to show. We're going to go to position. Where are we going to go? We're going to go to the value of medium asteroid X, medium asteroid Y, and we're going to rotate in a random position. That's a motion. Point in direction. We need a random. Pick a random. 1, 2, 360. And then we should set speed. So we create a variable. Make a variable for this sprite only. Speed. And we're going to set the speed to a random amount also. And I'm going to go ahead and do this. But I don't recommend you do it between 1 and 360. How about 1 and 4. And then we're going to move, forever move in that direction. And then we're going to have to deal with some more stuff. Forever. Motion. Move. Speed steps is what we want to do. We're going to move. Speed steps. All right. Now we'll try the small asteroids. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. The bullet. Huh, we're still not colliding with the small ones. All right. Let's do a little more think time here while we try to figure out what the heck's going on. I think this just needs to be when I start as a clone, not when I receive start. And that was under control. Yeah. When I start as a clone, forever. And oh, I'm on the wrong one. Oh, no. I'm good. All right, let's just see if that does it. Second guessing myself. Oh gosh. It immediately goes from medium to small. We're definitely going to have to deal with that, but that looks pretty cool. I gotta say, I'm enjoying it so far. All right, let's look at my time here. It's 12:02. Hold on a second. Okay, so let me just talk real briefly before we move on, because I think this is an important step here. If you're going to be dealing with clones, be sure to use when I start as a clone. That's really important for all operations, except at the very beginning when you want to hide it, because we don't want things to appear until they've been cloned, which means that giving them instructions when it receives start, if we're hidden, it's like it's not going to follow those instructions. So that's a really important step. That is my third phrase that pays. And let's get back to working on this asteroids game. So, medium asteroid, we have the bullet, but I noticed the bullet when it hits a medium, or when it hits a large one, if it doesn't collide, it's real easy to hit a medium one as well. So we need to make sure our bullet is disappearing when it hits a medium. In fact, let's make sure we hide the bullet when it hits any type of asteroid. So we have a forever if touching asteroid. So we could throw a bunch of if statements in, but we also have the operator, which is the or the and. Now, this is a good time to talk about the difference between an and an or. So let's say it could be touching any type of asteroid. Okay, it could be large, or it could be medium, or it could be small. So we're going to drag this into here, and we're going to duplicate that. So if we are touching the asteroid, or we're touching the medium asteroid, but we also want to say, or we're touching the other, we need one more or. So we're going to drag the last or in here. We're going to take this double or, drop it right into there. Ah, okay, that's annoying. One more time. You want to check to make sure it's highlighted, and you want to drag the right item. And the last one is we're just going to duplicate the touching or touching small asteroid. Doesn't matter which one. We're going to hide the bullet so it can't go on and hit a bunch of other stuff. So let's go ahead and test that out. Oh, save now if you haven't been saving. Make sure you save. I don't know if it auto saves or not, but let's just test it out. It's still happening. And I think what's happening is we're waiting too long. So 0.1 seconds is too much. So let's do a 0.01 seconds. See if it still works. Let's hit a slower one. Yeah. Okay, I think that's going to work. Okay, so that's a really important step here, is don't forget, and I'll just do this the phrase that pays number 4. Before hiding, a bullet needs to only wait 0.01 seconds, or else, when hitting, I should say, an asteroid, before hiding, a bullet needs to only wait 0.01 seconds, or else it may just hit the spawns as well. Okay, and that's that idea of if we only did a 0.1 second, let me hide that. As a 0.1 second, it only, let me get rid of that. It actually was able to not only hit the big asteroid, but a medium as well. So it went from big to for small. And so we want just a very, very, very tiny weight is all we need in order to get our collision in before we hide. So that should be good. If that still causes problems, you might want to even adjust that more. But I think we're good for now. Okay, so we've got, let's take a look at our list of problems we're going to work on. Collisions with medium asteroids are working. Setting spawning collisions with small asteroids. Okay, we haven't added scoring. Let's get to the small asteroids, then we'll deal with the wraparound. Okay, so on the small asteroids, when I start as a clone, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so let's go to the medium asteroids. We have the collision if we're touching the ship or the bullet. It's too bad I can't just like bring that over into the small asteroid. I'm going to try this one more time. Oh, it might be able to. Let me just try to duplicate. Nah, maybe not. Delete. Delete 12 blocks. Okay. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing here. Do we have our variables for small asteroid X? No, we do not. However, that's okay. We've got our small asteroid spawning. We don't need, we will need to set its, oh right, start as a clone. Okay, we already did that. Never mind. Now it's just collision detection. So we'll go to control. When I start as a clone, then we're going to do collision detection. We're going to do a forever. And it's going to be collision, right? So we're going to do an if, and we're going to do a compound or, and a sensing, which is touching. Oh, let's just grab this in here. We're touching the ship, or we're touching a bullet. All we need to do is hide. That's it. Because we're not going to further spawn anything else. Let's go ahead and test that out. Let's see if we can shoot. Yeah, we can do that. I think you can see me hitting small ones. Perfect. Oh, our asteroids game is really taking shape now. Okay, so we've got the collision. We don't have wrap around. If you look at our screen, notice they're all hanging around the edges. Okay, so let's go ahead and get a copy of the wraparound mechanic from our asteroid, our big asteroid. And we're looking for, it was a series of if-else tests. Yes, wrap around. So we need a screen capture of this. And it's mostly so I get these numbers here. So we go over here, we get a nice thin snippet. Don't even need more than that. Get that as far off to the right as I can. And we'll just set this over here a little bit more. I'm going to need this for both the small, or the medium, and the small. And this is collision detection. And I've run out of room. So let's drag this over here. I really like comments. I think they're very important for your programs to make them more readable. This is just a spawn mechanic. And okay, so we're going to do a when I start as a clone. Oh, I didn't mean to delete all that, but that's okay. I do have a forever, and I can toss the rest of this stuff. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. Forever. Okay, so then we're going to do a series of checks. If, and we're going to look at the X and the Y positions. We're going to need to get those. Just going to drag these two out. X position, Y position. We got the greater than, the lesser than. We've got a set. So we get one greater than, one lesser than. We're going to do a lot of duplication. And we're going to do some if. And we're going to set an X and a Y. We don't, they're just a series of if statements. And we're going to have a set X and a set Y. And if you didn't see my video tutorial where we talked about that, this is a good time to sort of learn. Okay, so we have a lesser than. Where did our greater than one go? I thought we had a greater than. I must have forgot to put that in there. All right, so I get all of my components in place because I'm just going to drop them all in there. So let's just do this methodically. We'll do an X position is greater than. I think what I'll do is duplicate each one before I use it. If the X position is greater than 240, in other words, we're on the far right edge of the screen. We're going to set it to the far left of the screen. And it's already moving toward the right, so it's going to just keep going in that direction in case you were concerned. There's no need to be concerned. Everything will take care of itself. All right, so that is the right-hand edge. And I forgot to do a duplicate of the if, so let's get our control in here and our if block. And we'll do what we did before. I duplicate, move it into place. And we're going to do a Y position and a greater than. And we're done with our greater than, so I can just drag this one in. But I will need the Y position again, so I will duplicate that. Okay, now the Y is the top and the bottom. It's not as tall, so we're dealing with 180. If it's greater than 180, that means we're moving up. We've hit the top edge of the screen, so now we need to set our Y to the bottom of the screen, which is negative 180. And then we'll keep moving in that same direction. Okay, see how we're doing this. Now we should have two less thans. We don't, so let's just delete that one. And then we'll duplicate this. Actually, here, let's do this. Less than, let's just duplicate that. Perfect. So we'll drag those in, and now it's X position is less than, Y position is less than, set X, set Y. See how they just kind of all now fall into place. And the X has to do with 240, so if it's less than negative 240, we've gone to the left off of the screen. We're going to set it to the opposite side, which is positive 240. And if Y is less than negative 180, we set Y to positive 180. Whew. And then we're going to have to repeat the same thing for our small asteroids. Won't that be fun? But let's just make sure our medium asteroids are not going off the screen or are wrapping around now. Oh gosh. And let's just watch those. Medium asteroids are moving, going across, wrapping around the screens. Okay, I saw enough. I was kind of having fun playing and I forgot to check, but I think we're good there. Let's see where we're at on our time right now. I think to save time, I'm going to do the same thing that I did here for my small asteroid. So we need to do that forever block. And so I'm not going to do it. I think you could do that. In fact, you could just pause the video. You've got your screen. you could go in and do the same thing for the small asteroid. What else were we going to do? Let's just double check our goals. That should be the spawning, the wraparound for the small asteroids, adding scoring. Okay, this is a pretty easy one. Let's make hitting the big asteroids worth the least amount and the smaller ones worth the most amount. Now, we got to go to our ship. We got to look at our variable. And we got to make sure that we don't have a variable called score. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a variable for all sprites, and we're going to call it score. And the reason why we're going to do that is because we want all variables to have access to it to be able to change it. However, actually, maybe we don't need to do that because, no, the bullet is what's going to be detecting whether it hits something or not. We're only going to score if our bullet hits it. If our ship hits it, that might help us out a little bit, but I don't think it's worth points. So I'm going to go to the bullet, and we already have our collision. If we're touching any of the asteroids. So now I've got all these extra ones in here. I'm just going to duplicate this, and then we're going to call this scoring. I got to close that. Scoring. All right. So this is going to be pretty easy. We don't even have to wait. The wait takes care of all that stuff for it, but we're going to do a set. We're going to change score. Let me hide this. And then I'm just going to duplicate this and move it down. And then I'm going to pull all these ores out. If we're touching the asteroid, change score by 100. And we'll pull all this out. We can actually delete that. Oh, we don't even need that. Medium asteroid. Change score by 200. And then we'll just duplicate that. And on the bottom one, we'll change that to small asteroid by 500. We'll delete all that. And we'll delete that. And let's just go ahead and see if we can get some score. It's not happening. Okay, score is not getting hit. So I'm looking at my time, and I think what I'm going to do is see if I can get the solution and show you what it is, but you won't have to watch me trying to do it. Okay, I got score working, except for not exactly. Problem with scoring now, I can get new score, but I haven't reset the score at the beginning of the game. I also noticed that if my ship hits a big asteroid, that's not good, but I can just collide right through the medium and small, so it doesn't damage myself. But here's the trick, and I can't believe I did this. I forgot to change score. I was changing the asteroid X and asteroid Y, so it actually works, but we got to make sure that we reset score at the beginning of the game. So when I receive, not even start, we're going to just do, when the green flag is clicked, we're going to set score. So I'm just going to duplicate the bottom one. And we're going to set score to 0. And we'll go over full screen and we'll test it out. See, score 0. And I'll just collide with some big asteroids. Ships down to 1 and 0. Score is 600. Starts over. Cool. All right. I know I'm out of time, but let me just at least do the ship collision with anything, not just the one type of asteroid. Collision detection. So all I have to do is build this out. So I will do it. You saw me do it before. It's just a series of the or statements. So I'm going to do that right now, and then I'll come back. In the end, this is what we want. If we're touching the asteroid or we're touching the medium asteroid, or we're touching the small asteroid. We're going to broadcast ship hit asteroid. So let's just see if that ends up working. And there we go. So I hit a medium one and then I disappeared. Oh, I want to hit a small one. So I have to test it again. Interesting. This works on. Oh. There we go. I had a small one. It did it. All right, we are good to go. So let's just see where we ended up. We have the collision detection. We have our bullets. Wraparound effect works for all of the ships, doesn't it? And oh no, I didn't do it for the medium one, but you can do that on your own. And let's see what we got to. We got to collisions. We got the spawning. We have the scoring. We just did do the hyperspace. So we're almost done. I think I'd like to add the hyperspace and see if I can do anything to sort of clean up the movement in my asteroid. So I have 4 phrases that pay. Number 5 on scoring. Just make sure you are changing the score variable to add to the score. Change score by n. There we go. That's our 5th phrase that pays. I am done with my presentation for today. Thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned. I believe I can get this done in one more tutorial, and then we'll be totally done. So thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned for that last tutorial coming soon to YouTube near you.